Sometimes when I'm thinking about us, before we got lost and we parted, back to back we would carry on and we'd do anything for what we started. But this time we could break. I'm running dry, everything's the same. We'll try tonight. This time we're not safe and sound, not safe and sound. What if I'm no good for you? What if you're no good for me? Yeah. What if I'm no good for you? What if you're no good for me? Yeah. Sometimes when I'm reasoning about us, I know you got me, it's so effortless. Back to back we would carry on and we'd do anything for what we started. But this time we could break. I'm running dry, everything's the same. We'll try tonight. No, this time we're not safe and sound, not safe and sound. What if I'm no good for you? What if you're no good for me? Yeah. What if I'm no good for you? What if you're no good for me? Yeah. What if I'm no good for you? What if you're no good for me? Yeah. What if I'm no good for you? What if you're no good for me? What if I'm no good for you? What if you're no good for me? What if I'm no good for you? What if you're no good for me? What if I'm no good for you? What if you're no good for me? What if I'm no good for you? What if you're no good for me? What if I'm no good for you? What if you're no good for me?
Surprise.
Surprise.
I always try and like transition over while the music sort of plays out, and I think I did it one measure early this time. So, oops. Oh well. Here we are.
All right.
yeah.
Yeah, here we are. We're on the FPV news. It's another
Yeah.
Tuesday
This
where we do the news. We got whatever's out there. We grab it all up. We get your emails from news@fpvknowitall.com down there in the corner of the screen anytime you need
That's
it.
true.
And we aggregate. And then we find our own stuff and we put it all out here for you in a nice orderly fashion.
That's right.
They're also in the. Well, you could spoil yourself if you wanted to do that. You could go down in the show notes and find out what we're going to talk about. But you probably wouldn't want to. You
Don't
want to
spoil it. Don't spoil it.
as we share.
Yeah.
But afterwards, you can go down
yeah.
there and get all those links.
Yeah. And that's what we're going to do. Another week with no public service announcements. The world must be getting more boring. I'm sure something exciting will happen eventually. Instead, we only have in-depth stories. FPV Dreamer Mike's has asked a question in the chat. Mike, just to make it clear, we don't take chat questions and technical support issues in the news. That's what I do for my Q&A streams on Sunday and Monday. From Tuesday, it's all about the news. The download. We download the news to you. Direct brain dump. You're welcome to email me, jb@joshuabardwell.com with any questions. And I will get to them. Or you can wait till next Sunday and super chat me. Let's get on though with the first story in today's news.
The first story. It's going to be INAV 7. INAV 7's out, and it's a huge major release with a bunch of new stuff from INAV. And
after 9 months of waiting, I'm super happy.
What's going on?
Oh shit! Sorry, I didn't mean to make Pavel speak over you. I was just trying to bring up. Yeah, go.
Yeah, so we've got Pavel's video here where he covers some of the new features. We've also got 2 more Pavel's videos linked with 2 of those features in depth in the description. So if you can dive in there if you want. We wanted to let you know, though, if you're looking for, one of these platforms that's maybe more focused on, the loitering lifestyle, right? The more controlled flight with some other features and stuff. INAV has been working its way into being more user-friendly and supporting a lot more flight controllers and things like that.
Yeah.
So things they've got now, VTOL support built in. Wasn't a thing before. Now they support VTOLs fully. They've got new targets if you're looking for a target. They've got targets for you now, hopefully. GPS improvements across the board, which on something like INAV is great. We're seeing
GPS is like what they do.
Yeah, they've got MSP VTX support, so now if you're on HD0 or something, you can do that the MSP VTX control that you were looking for. And then 2 of the big ones I saw were EasyTune. So you actually get a video from Pavel about that too. But EasyTune is essentially Betaflight sliders plus. So they put kind of everything on sliders. So your filter tuning is like on the same set of sliders that your PIDs are and stuff. It's kind of all grouped together and make it nice and easy. And Pavel's got a video reviewing that EasyTune stuff.
Yeah.
And then there's cruise mode. The other cool feature I think is cool. Basically, you set cruise mode up, and then it just reads your last inputs, but it uses throttle as height, essentially, and then just kind of lets you drift forward, let go of your sticks when you're doing like a long-range flight or something like that.
Exactly.
Just kind of cool. If you're sitting there like, trying to micromanage as you fly long range,
A lot of long-range flights, and obviously I'm not a long-range pilot, but I know people who are. A lot of long-range flights are just you sitting there going, yep, I'm flying in a straight line. Sure am. And this, obviously, if you've got, GPS-based waypoints, which INAV can do, you just put a GPS waypoint and it'll fly to the waypoint. But some people want something in between sort of manual flight. And what this is kind of like cruise control for your car. It just kind of keeps flying at a constant altitude and heading and speed. And you just sort of sit there and wait. Yeah, very, very cool. INAV... I think INAV is in a really interesting place where people who want some autonomous flight capabilities, things like a true proper return to home, GPS-based loiter where it'll do position hold in space, waypoints, great support for not just multi-rotors but also wings, for example. The Betaflight just isn't the best choice for these things. And you go all the way over to something like Arcgis, and Arcgis is great at those things, but isn't very good at like acro flight. It's really actually pretty bad at it. I got to fly a acro drone that someone had for some they had put Arcgis on it because the person who was building it was an Arcgis person and expert. And so when they were asked to build like an FPV style drone, of course they put Arcgis on it, and it flew like dog shit. It was so bad. Maybe it could fly better, but this one experience I had was terrible. And INAV is interesting because it kind of, it's not like quite as good at autonomous stuff as Arcgis, and it's not quite as good at acro stuff as Betaflight, but it's pretty good at both. And it's going to be a great choice for a lot of people. So.
Yeah, I forgot to link you here, but also I noticed that Mark Spatz, UAV Tech, also has a video about transitioning over to INAV from Betaflight if you need to do that, and showing you the different things you want to copy over and stuff like that. And that was just recently made, I believe, for this INAV release. That's
certainly another advantage of INAV for people who are watching this channel, which is that if you're coming from Betaflight, it will feel familiar. It's not the same, but it will feel familiar. Whereas if you go to Arcgis, as I learned recently when I did an Arcgis build, it is like just a whole different freaking world. Also, didn't they like update? Do they have resource reassignment now? Did they add resource reassignment? I thought I watched Pavel's release video because I was like, oh, flexible outputs. This was exciting to me. Flexible outputs.
By INAV. One of the biggest user-friendly improvements inside of the INAV is the flexible motor and servo assignment mechanism. Right now, inside of the INAV configurator, you have the option to assign functions to each of the output groups. This means you can basically change the behavior of each of the outputs. Motors, servos, almost however you want, but you still...
This is exciting to me, and it's possible that I haven't fully understood how it works, but one of the things that frustrated me a while back when I did an INAV build was you couldn't just reassign the motor outputs like you can in Betaflight. You can just reorder the motors. You had to manually go into the mixer and change the mixer. It was a real pain in the ass if your motors weren't wired up right. And of course, with INAV, you're going to have potentially servos, maybe a bunch of different motors. The ability to sort of remap them in a more user-friendly way really excites me. So maybe it's time to look back at INAV again and do an INAV build. I don't know. Did an Arcgis build? I could do an INAV build, right? My flight controller supports INAV.
I was gonna say maybe you could just take a build you already have and then like flash INAV on it and then kind of compare.
That would be
what can I do?
Easy
what can I
and
do
fun.
here and what can I do here? Yeah.
Clearly I won't be doing that. It'll be easy, fun, and probably get views. Okay. Well, I want to say, does Pavel just do all of this himself? Is there an INAV team?
We could easily find out, I believe, by going to
look at the pull rate. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, good point. Like, he's the face of the project for sure. How about we look at pull requests? No, we just look at where's the, INAV? You can just see that for the repo who's making pull requests and stuff. Insights, maybe it's under here. Contributors.
Yeah, there you go. There's a button in there to show it. There we go.
Oh no, there's a lot of people working on it. So digital entity, is that? Yeah, good old Dominic
that's
Clifton.
From 2014 to 2016 though. We got time frames on the bottom there. You see there's a time scale.
Okay, let's look at where's the time scale.
If you look at each person, there's a little time scale under each person.
Oh, that's really cool. So Hydra was way back when. Still, no disrespect. Yeah. Ziku VX, that's probably, that looks like that's Pavel. Continuing on. Oh, here we got Bread Oven, who's been doing stuff recently. So it does look like he carries a lot of weight, though. Not to take anything away from anybody else. That's pretty impressive. Oh, no, we got a fair number of people here coming in. Pretty cool. Well, thanks to all those guys for keeping that project alive and developing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll tell you what, one more thing before, I know we're like about to move on to this story. One more thing I want to sneak in though, and that is, where's the target list? There's a lot of people out there who have a flight controller right now that they could flash INAV on, literally just flash INAV on it and try it the frick out. And it might be worth it.
Yeah, I'm not sure the easiest way to pull that up. Maybe if you pull up the releases over there and look down the list.
Exactly.
That's still how they're assembled.
If we go to releases and we go all the way to the bottom, you could just download the configurator and the target list should be there as well.
Easiest way. Yeah.
But if you go down here in the releases, and here are all of the targets that INAV can run on. If your flight controller runs on one of these targets, you can just flash INAV and then UAV Tech INAV 7, right? INAV 7 is here.
Click on, if you go to his page.
Where? His YouTube page?
No, his YouTube page. That's how I found it recently. I just forgot to link it in the show. Let's see. It's right there somewhere.
INAV, how to. Leaving Betaflight. Betaflight to INAV. So if your flight controller can run one of these targets, then check out this video from Mark Spatz and give INAV a try. Just back up your configuration. You can always just flash back. You'll be good to go. And check it out. All right. Is that it? We moving on?
Yeah, the only other thing to mention is they are finally, this will be the last time they support F411 boards. They still do in this release, but any future release won't support F411 because it's time to sunset those processors.
So screw the pores. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, 722 is still usable, so.
Yeah, okay. All right.
All right.
Next up, we've got a simulator. And, there's lots of simulators out there, Blunty. What makes this one newsworthy?
This is the first simulator I've seen. Somebody shared this with me on the Discord, and this is the first simulator I've seen that attempts to, I say attempts, actually emulates a flight controller. a Betaflight flight controller. So this uses a piece of code called SITL. Hold on a minute.
So here we're looking, while you're looking that up, here we're looking at an OSD. It's a Betaflight OSD, and people might be thinking, oh, that's cute. They simulate the Betaflight OSD. No, sir.
Yeah, it's actually drawing the Betaflight OSD. Like it's all there.
Here, this is Betaflight Configurator running inside the sim, and the changes that you make here affect the simulated quad exactly as they would a real quad.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. And then, you'll see up the top he's connected to like a local address, and that local address is your flight controller in the game, and then you configure it. So like you see there, he's got modes tab. Like when I started the sim, I had to set up an arm switch in the modes tab to fly.
Now, my first thought, Blunty, was when you said that was, great, so now it's just as much of a pain in the ass to play in my simulator as it is in the real. Like, isn't the whole point of a simulator that I don't have to go through all that bullshit and I can just plug in my joystick and play?
Right. Well, I think if you think about it from the front end of somebody who already knows what they're doing, it does seem like extra stuff, right? Like, hey, I'm going to go fly my sim and I've got extra stuff. But now we're in a situation where if you're new or you're maybe trying to learn more, right, you can go in and specifically learn what you're doing. I mean, if you have a real drone that you get, you'll know now how a modes tab is set up, and you'll have to go add the motor protocol in the motors tab and all those kind of things. So you'll at least have a leg up when you start flying for real. Yeah.
Now I have to say, the PID, people have implemented PID tuning in simulators before, and that is a place where I think that you shouldn't extrapolate too much against reality. The ability of a simulator to simulate how a quadcopter flies, people are always saying, oh, the sim doesn't feel real, it feels too floaty. And then to go the next step and emulate, you could kind of fake how PIDs work, but I don't think people should expect that they're going to learn how to PID tune by playing around with, you might learn some things, but a real quadcopter and the action of the PID seems like it's very difficult to simulate accurately, and probably will be kind of
So basically, my understanding of what this does is essentially it runs something called sim in the loop. And it's a software in the loop method to simulate Betaflight's entire code on the flight controller. So it's actually running Betaflight. And then Betaflight's getting inputs from the simulator that are the physics of the orientation and speed. It's running them through the PID loop, and then it's outputting from the PID loop orientation and speed.
So what
That's
you're
my understanding.
saying?
So it's doing the whole simulation, and then it's spitting out orientation and speed that go to back to the simulator.
So the Betaflight PID loop in the simulator will behave identically, but what will be different to the real world is the inputs of the simulated gyro inputs, for example.
Right.
So, for example, and the reason I in the real world, there's a lot of I've talked to people who've built simulators, and they say that when you try and simulate the way a quadcopter flies, there's a lot of non-linear effects that are very difficult to accurately simulate. And so they oftentimes just approximate and take shortcuts to try to make the quad feel like it's flying realistically and match a real-world model as close as it can. But those gyro inputs, those simulated gyro inputs coming from the simulated real world are only going to match the real world so closely. But I don't want to harp on that too much. I do want to point it out because I don't want people to over extrapolate. I mean, it'd be fun to try it out and see how close it gets to the real thing. Because there's so much good stuff here.
Yeah, I think one thing though I would say is I bet if you could do this. You remember that video you made a long time ago when you were doing black box, where you were changing the p value up.
Yeah.
And then you were changing the I value. And then you were changing that would probably work here, and you'd probably get a good representation of how those things worked in a simulated environment.
I think
it's kind of interesting.
I think you're right.
So at least a lot of that is there at the base level.
Yeah.
Also, for anybody on the Discord, or for anybody that wants to know, we have VTX Slayer is a creator of Prop Dev, and he's in our chat in the Discord. So he hangs out on the Discord.
I'm always impressed when somebody Like I meet somebody or hear about somebody and and I'm like, oh, this guy's really smart. And then it turns out they're already on my Discord server. And I'm like, wow, I just feel really honored. I don't know why smart people come hang out on my server, but I'm glad that they do. Well, I mean,
also, we should mention, we're sharing this. This is still, he's not done with this thing. Like, it's still, he's developing it constantly. And it's currently on 0.40. Or 0.41 actually. We just got a patch before we went live for a couple things. So
yeah. Have you flown it?
Just for like 3 seconds to make sure I understood how the Betaflight configurator part worked. So not enough to like actually have a good understanding of.
Yeah, because of course the question is it a good sim? Does it feel real?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, we'll definitely keep an eye on that. In fact, we were just talking before the. Never mind, Blunty. You know what we were talking about before the news was that I should stop saying things that I might do, that then people expect me to do and ask me when I'm going to do them. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to finish that sentence.
Yeah, we have a video we might be making soon, and you'll have to tune in to find out.
We're not going to tell you what it is, because then you'll be like, "When are you going to do that thing?" And I'll be like, "I should have said anything." So. We will move on to the next story. And the next story is a community spotlight.
That's correct.
Oh, it is a community spotlight.
It's a community spotlight. This one comes from Alex Suarez, who is a member of the FPV Freedom Coalition, a core team member with me and Dave Messina and the other guys over there. And he has done what the FAA has decided not to do yet. Somehow, government organization with all this data internally can't
they
make
already
it,
have the database. All they have to do, they do. The FAA does. All they have to do is feed the database into a Google Maps and then give us the URL. No, they won't do it. That'll be another $500,000 for the federal.
Alex has taken it upon himself to make this himself. So he collected the data from our FRIAs, from as many AMA FRIAs as he could get the info for, basically most of them at this point. All the STEM C FRIAs and all the Flight Test Community Association FRIAs. This is all the FRIAs that we know of that are registered. If you know of one, email alex@alexsuarez.com and let him know.
So kudos to Alex Suarez. Yeah. But this is such bullshit that he has to do this by hand.
Yeah.
When the FAA has all the information, it's not even like it's your credit card number and your social security number. It's not like it's private information. This database is public information. Could he like FOIA the database or something?
Oh, there's been a FOIA request for months and months and months that's been unreplied to, where one of our members has attempted to FOIA and has not gotten even a response. As far as I know, has not even gotten a response on the FOIA request. He basically FOIA'd a lot of the AMA ones because the AMA didn't have them listed and we were still waiting to request them. He's like, let me just try it. Still waiting on that one months later. So
this would cost you nothing to do, and it would be useful. I've had it. Alex Suarez says, doing it by hand was faster than a FOIA. Go ahead.
Yes. So if you click in there real quick, you can actually see that. So this is a nice way to look at it. But if you click on it, we get way more detail because this is an ArcGIS tied in sort of thing. So this is essentially what the FAA will make. He made that already. So
they will make it.
Yeah, I mean, this is eventually a year or two later, whenever they get to it, right? This will be similar to the technology they use. But if you click on any of those, you'll either get most of them are going to be a pinpoint with a circle around them because that's how they were filed. But some of them are going to be a square, and they're represented as they're filed with the FAA. So what you see there is what you get, pretty much.
I should go to one of these and make. Although I would not. I would still need remote ID when flying at a FRIA because I would be a 107 operator. I would be making content, so it wouldn't even work for me. Now let's see here. Here's where mine would be if I had gotten one, but I didn't. Right around here-ish. Oh no, Bardwell, you don't dox yourself. Come at me. Go ahead. Oh, what's this? Is that Melton Hill? No, Williams Bend Road. I thought it was Melton Hill Dam.
Oh, is that why you got
it is. It is. Oh, I know this field. This is an AMA field near me. I did a video. They actually have you can't see it on this satellite image. They have a multi-GP course that Kevin frickin' Kevin Turner put up there. Evan Turner's dad. Yeah, that's cool that they're a FRIA. That's where I would go. That's the FRIA that's nearest to my house. Isn't that special? Anyway.
All right. So yeah, shout out to Alex for doing that. We definitely appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, that's, again, the FAA is not going to do it, so Alex did it.
Let's move on. I'm depressed. We have a better community spotlight. Give me a better one, Blunty.
All right, here's what I'm going to give you. This is so good that I think this is the future of something that will be common across the industry in years. This is the start.
Let's hype it. Let's hype it.
This is the thing.
This is going to be massive. If you don't get in on this, you will regret it going forward.
All right, so this is a plugin. We talked about Rotor Hazard, the new Rotor. We talked about Rotor Hazard adding plugin support, right?
Yes.
One of those plugins, Rotor Hazard MSP OSD Injector. Okay, so this
what
essentially
is that?
So essentially the idea is you put a second little ELRS light receiver in your drone.
Oh.
Okay.
Yo dog, I heard you like ELRS receivers.
Yes.
So I put an ELRS receiver in your ELRS receiver. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So you take a little ELRS light receiver, you put it in your drone, you flash this firmware to it. It's not ELRS, it's this new firmware. We'll flash to it, totally format the thing and do its own thing.
Okay.
And then Rotor Hazard will send data to it, and it'll put it in the craft name field of your OSD. So you can get things like lap time, position, information about the race.
Shut the fuck
up.
OSD,
in your OSD directly in the craft name field. Guess what that means? Craft name means old DJI supports it, new supports it, MSP supports it, analog supports it, everything supports it.
So basically, your Rotor Hazard. Oh, Rotor Hazard already runs on an ESP32. It already interfaces with it. It runs on a Raspberry Pi, but it already has code to interface with an ESP32. So it's using.
You just slap this plug-in in.
But you don't need additional hardware, do you?
Yeah, you just need that receiver in your drone, as far as I know. Yeah,
because the Rotor Hazard already has an ESP32, and it uses that to transmit to the receiver on your drone.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes, correct.
Whoa! And then the ESP32 receiver on your drone wires up to a UART, and it uses MSP to change the craft name in real time, so you can know your position, your lap times. That's so cool.
I'm going to say there's multiple things that I think are really cool about this.
Yeah.
One of the things I think is really cool about this is this is a really genius way to not have to interact with another code base. Because basically what he did was he made his own app. You flash it to an ELRS receiver, so ExpressLRS isn't involved. Betaflight's not involved because he sent an MSP command over a UART.
Right.
Rotor Hazard's just getting a plug-in. It's so simple because he's not.
So all you need is your race director. No, well, number one, they have to run Rotor Hazard. So if they're running live time with an Immersion RC, you got to get off your fucking ass. Rotor Hazards are going to eat your lunch if they haven't already. Never mind that no one can get Immersion RC hardware. But anyway.
Yeah, well, they'd have to make hardware for it.
Right. Rotor Hazard. So your race director with his existing, well, I guess there's versions of Rotor Hazard that don't run on an ESP32, but his existing hardware can install this plugin. And then any racer who chooses to put this hardware, an extra ELRS receiver on their drone, boom, in their OSD can get this information. That's sick. That's sick.
Okay, so here's the second part of this, okay, right? First part is great implementation, all these kind of things. Second part, It's Not Sam in the chat says, are we defending craft name for arbitrary OSD display now? DJI was ahead of the game.
Damn it!
My point here is I'm not defending it. I'm saying this is the start of something because he didn't want to interact with the code bases, but you could. So anyone out there now that knows this might be in demand, right? Mm-hmm. How much easier it would be if this was just built into Betaflight and could use the Bluetooth receiver or something, right? Or use like the built-in Wi-Fi on a flight controller. Or like there's multiple pieces that could happen here, right? Maybe you could use a diversity ExpressLRS RX, and one half of that diversity would be this thing, and the other half of that diversity could be the normal ELRS, right?
Yeah.
So I think this like if there's demand for this and people think this is cool, maybe this will open up a lot of other avenues for people to do neat stuff that would make it easier and easier to get race info and heads up. in your racing display.
I mean, it seems like there's a demand for an arbitrary text field, and craft name just happens to be being used that way. There's also pilot name.
Perfectly for the situation. Yeah.
And maybe the thing to do would be for Betaflight to provide access to 4 or 5 or 8, just arbitrary, and you could just I don't know. It starts to expand at that point.
But I think you can do that over MSP. He just chose to do the easier MSP implementation of using craft name so any possible OSD could use it. Because now craft name means anything in existence can use it. Old DJI can use it. New HD0, all that stuff.
Sure.
But he could do the same thing over MSP,
but
I'm pretty sure.
What if we
do more fields, right?
What if we gave up the pretense that craft name was craft name and pilot name was pilot name, and we just called them, OSD text field 1.
I'm just saying, I think he's just supporting the old idea. That's my understanding, is that already exists.
But then you could add more. You could add more.
Sure.
Why do we only have 2? Why don't we have 4? Why don't we have 8?
I think you can. I may be wrong about this, but I think you could just define them on your own. I think you can make those decisions, but maybe that's not the case.
By compiling Betaflight.
No. By sending MSP commands called certain things to define new.
You think MSP could create a new text box? No.
I thought that was part of the whole MSP OSD thing.
How would it have to be in the
anymore?
How would you determine it would be in the config?
Okay, but how does a goggle? No. I think you're confused about what I'm saying. Maybe.
Okay. Maybe.
Yeah.
Do you want to try and sort it out?
No. We're not going to go. This is going to be one of those things we argue about for 10 minutes and doesn't mean anything. Doesn't go anywhere.
Well, this is very cool. We're very happy about it. And I think racers are going to be. So refresh my memory, Brother. You said it. What exactly does it show on your screen? What information?
I think it's options.
It's configurable.
Yeah, hold on. Let me go look at the... It just says you should start seeing notifications about rotor hazard connection, completed laps, etc. in your OSD. Okay. That was how it's described. So I'm not sure exactly what it ends up showing. And he did, as of yesterday, he has a injectable version that's like a zip file. You just download it and kind of does the work for you. So. Yeah, awesome stuff.
Awesome stuff. All right. Well, that's very cool, and racers should check it out. Next up.
All right. Next up is going to be an event, and we want to talk about TCL. What?
It's a cinematic.
Oh, it's a cinematic.
It finally happened.
Don't do this. You skipped one last week, and I didn't call you out on it. So don't do this.
What? Shut up. Yeah, but you've never skipped one.
That's fair. Okay.
You've never skipped one. Finally, the great big goose egg is a 1. It's like 1 to 700, but I'm glad you're on the board. What did I skip last week?
Well, I don't want to say it because people will be annoyed that we didn't do it, but it was the liftoff update.
Oh, I'm annoyed that we didn't do it. Why didn't we do it this week?
Because it didn't seem that important, and we were doing another sim, so it was like whatever.
Oh. We should do the liftoff update next week.
Okay, it wasn't that big of a deal, but okay, we can add it. Sure.
Okay.
We don't list every sim update. It just seemed like one to list because we didn't know.
liftoff's my liftoff's my bro. Okay.
All right. Next up. Yeah, fair. That's true, though. True.
Finally, Black Jungle. That's like the 4th time Black Jungle actually got your approval. Okay, let's get serious faces. Oh, shit. Serious faces. Here we go. Cinematic of the week.
Cinematic of the week. We've got this one from WestPsyde, who I believe we've shown on the show before. And he's got Colorado in 4K. Some cool mountain shots in Colorado.
Yeah. As always, we're going to show you a little teaser of it. We want him to get the clicks, not us to get the clicks. So we're going to show you just enough of it that it makes you hungry to see more. The link is in the video description below. And also it's going to be muted in case there's copyrighted music. Just more incentive for you to go watch the real thing. But let's check it out. WestPsyde! Have I started a gang war now? I hear that's... I hope not. Some East Side rappers are going to come after me because now that I said that. I feel like this would definitely be enhanced by music. Hang on, I'm going to listen real quick. Oh yeah, there's music. Nice smooth flying. Nice stabilization. Oh, I saw some speed ramping. Threw me a little bit. There's a little bit of jitter in the frame. You guys probably didn't see it because I'm re-uploading this. But excellent path. Love the reveal of the sun. Love the angle of the sun. We got shadow up here on top, but sun on the face. Just tracing this perfectly. I'm so hungry for the moment when he turns left and descends. And I'm going to break away as soon as he does that because I want you guys to go watch the real thing. Here it is. You don't get to see that part. Go click on the link in the video description and watch the whole thing. Nice. Very nice. It's such
absolutely.
This kind of flight reminds me a little bit of like, this is going to sound silly, of like Japanese calligraphy, where you're trying to make something artistic out of very simple brushstrokes. I don't know a lot about Japan. It's my impression of it, though, that you've got this landscape, right? And it's not moving. It's not going to go anywhere. The only thing you can do is decide your path through the landscape and try to make like the most beautiful experience for your viewer out of it. And that's really cool. That's really cool.
Absolutely.
Right. Well, thank you, WestPsyde, for that. All right, Blunty, we can go on to the events now that we've gone back and made sure we didn't skip that beautiful cinematic that you didn't apparently care that people saw.
All right. First up on the events, we got to look at DCL 2023. If you don't know, DCL is the Drone Champions League. We've covered it on and off in the past. And they're going into their super finals, which is the final finals. It's the end of it. And it's going to be in Saudi Arabia for real. This is a real life race, not a sim race. It's pretty cool.
Okay, that's cool.
I think they're also releasing like a sim map with it or something. It's a little confusing. I had to ask around, and then in the description they say they will be at Old Town Amphitheater, Al Ula, Saudi Arabia. So
that's cool. I'm a big fan of DCL.
Yeah.
Check
that out. That's on December the 20th. If you want to check out
is Saudi Arabia the country that like started paying golfers giant sums of money to come play for them exclusively and leave the PGA? Is that Saudi Arabia?
That's a fact I have no relation to.
Some people were like, but Saudi Arabia human rights abuses, blah, blah, blah. I think it was. So I feel like we might get a little blowback on that in the comments. But there you go. What are you doing, DCL? Probably making $30 million. Good for you. Next up, we got one more event.
All right. Next up is the Lazyday Winter Sim Series, and this is something everybody here can participate in. I wanted to point this out because this is really cool. Lazyday FPV has been putting these tracks, official tracks, in Velocidrone up, and then he sets up a track challenge. So he gives you some times that you can try to aim for on the track, and then kind of give it an idea where you're at with everybody, and have a little friendly competition between everybody. And I think every week he's been putting up a new track. So on this track, you could go find the track Velocity by Lazyday and see where you rank in the track.
And I like this ranking because let's face it, when I'm never going to be like at the top of the leaderboard. So in some level, it's like I'm like, why would I? I'm just going to suck. But like if I get a silver, I can push for a gold, right? And, I could try to improve my time, and that's what it's all about. And I don't have to worry about the, 20 pilots who are 3 times as fast as me up in platinum. I just pretend they don't exist. That's
and
nice.
Every week you can try to get a good time on that week's track and, hang out and talk to people about it. So pretty neat idea.
Very cool. Thank you, Lazyday, for doing that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there's our events. Now it's the time when we go to my favorite part. Events out, super chats in. Yeah, super chats. And we have super chats this week.
All right.
Got a lot of super chats to go through. We may be here for a while. Thank you, Jason Corville, for $5 super chat. Says, thanks, Joshua and ItsBlunty, for the heads up on the Catalyst Machine Works job. I got the job and start soon. Looking forward to my first day of fun. Holy shit. We did a story. Remind the people about the story.
So we did a story about Catalyst Machine Works. They were hiring locally in Texas for people to come in and make good money.
Like $75,000 a year or something.
Yeah, especially for the area, great money, and we wanted to share it so we could get people in there, and apparently that happened. So that is pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool. Neil Whiteley seems like he would be a really cool guy to work for. Like, he seems like a really fun. He's a cool guy to hang out with. I'll say that. I don't like. It's possible he's a total slave driver as a boss, but I bet he's not. Like, sometimes the coolest guys to hang out with, because he's cool to hang out with, but also his quadcopters are all incredibly well made. So it feels like as long as you're able to meet that standard and satisfy him, then you're going to have a great time at the job. But if you start fucking up, he's not going to let you get away with it. Jason Corville, follow up with us in 6 months off the record. Tell us how the job is.
All right.
Or not. Congratulations, Jason. I hope you enjoy the job. That's a great opportunity. Bro Wild, thank you for a $5 super chat. After finding out all of your goats are male, that makes the lumpy FPV scandal far worse.
No.
But there is no, I feel obligated to say there is no lumpy FPV scandal involving my goats. That is a joke that I made on yesterday's live stream, and I'm not even going to let it drop and let people wonder what happened with lumpy FPV and Bardwell's goats, because that's just not fair. But it was really funny. And if you would like to know about the whole saga, you should head on over to Joshua Bardwell livestream clips. On YouTube, the Joshua Bardwell livestream clips channel takes clips from live streams and posts them, and there will be a recap of the saga. Whether you like it or not.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I request that you do that. It was pretty obvious from the beginning that it was a joke, but then I kept making the joke halfway and 3/4 of the way through the stream, and people who didn't hear the beginning of the joke, maybe.
The eternal problem with live streams, people entering and leaving.
You got to watch the whole live stream, or you got to go to the live stream clips channel and get the updates.
One of the worst things, you're trying to watch somebody you like, and they're in a spoiler section of a video, and then you pop in their live stream, and they're like already spoiling things, like right when you start. And it's like, I wasn't warned. So.
Yeah, it's no good. That's it. That's it. That's all. I thought there were more super chats. Apparently that's it. That's all of them. Thank you for your generosity. That brings us to our final segment.
It's true. It's barely news. This is where we go over the things that are like barely worth showing you. That some of them are kind of cool, but they don't like really make the main news. They don't fit in the main news cycle, at least for us. So yeah, the first one is going to be fireworks and drones, which we've seen before a little bit, and this seems to be a unique shot of some fireworks and drones that I haven't seen.
Launching 7,000 firework cakes at once. Do we know who the pilot is?
Offhand, it might be in the video description, but I'm not.
Well, maybe it's one of these people. All right, let's let her rip. Oh, he's chasing it, or they are chasing it. Overshot. What the frick is going on? Whoa! Oh, he's chasing the fuse. Ah! Get some slow-mo here. Yeah. Ah, that's it for your camera. Oh my God, your camera lens is fucked. Wow. Oh, they crashed. Nice. Oh, they're back up again. Oh, that's the light of the sun. Holy crap. I see that they're not like trying to get a beautiful cinematic. They're just like diving right into the fireworks. Right? It's like, I will fly into the heart of the sun and try to make it out the other side. I respect the intensity, the commitment. Oh, it's slowing down. Jeez, this is epic. This is freaking absolute pandemonium. Like, I've seen flying through fireworks displays before, but this is just pandemonium. How is the lens not melted? Right? Maybe it is. Dude.
Good stuff.
Very, very exciting. Very exciting. All right. Oh, we're going back for more. We're going back for more. Okay. Next up.
All right. Next up, we're going to bring you a story about two pilots. So this is sort of a PSA, but didn't really feel like a proper PSA to me.
Yeah.
So essentially, as far as I can tell, this is reporting by Geeksvana. I looked for sources, and as far as I can tell, Geeksvana's video is the source. I could be wrong about that. But
Geeksvana, I wouldn't put it past Geeksvana to break original news, especially about the UK, which is where he's based.
Yeah, so he has two pilots. So there are basically two pilots that were violated. I wasn't able to find reports like from anywhere official or anything, but as far as I can tell, they had two basically criminal actions they did with drones, and they were being violated for drone flight rules. But the interesting thing here is the Ofcom in the UK decided to also file fines on them for having the FCC hack active. And the minimum fine for the FCC hack being active is £1,000.
That's a lot of money.
So this is sort of a PSA to go like, hey, in the US, we talk a lot about how it probably doesn't matter that much if you're running max power over the levels. It's on ISM, things like that. In the UK, they care a lot more. It's a lot. My understanding is it's because it's a lot tighter area, and they just have overall much tighter restrictions on some of that stuff.
Yeah. And they don't believe in freedom.
This is an example of this is an example of if you do something, expect to get extra stuff going on if you're doing the FCC hack or something else. We don't know if they would be randomly picking people out. So as far as I know, they have not done that yet. So for doing this, but it is something you should know of. Like, you're adding risk to yourself by doing this in the UK. At least it seems to be the case.
It's like if you get caught for something else, this will be an additional £1,000 that first of all, they know the hack exists. We're like, oh shit. Oh, we assumed you guys were dumb. And they will check if you've hacked it. And if you have, they'll charge you another $1,000.
We should point out also that my understanding is the only thing that exists here is a minimum, which is 1,000. The way it's written is there's no maximum. So don't be an asshole. That's basically what I'll say, right? You don't want to upset anybody because it seems like they could kind of do what they want. That's my understanding of the way the law reads. So
I need positive news, Blunty. I'm tired. I want positive news.
All right. Well, this is positive news from MIT. Our next story.
There better be a dog at the end of this. That's what I'm saying. Continue.
Oh, this might be foreshadowing. Next up, this is going to be a kind of cool project. I want to see what comes out of this. MIT has developed a Tailsitter aircraft quad based on their algorithm planning work that they've done, and they think they've sort of broken the barrier to make these Tailsitter VTOLs work really well. They've got a video down here you can see of some of these acrobatics. So maybe you can decide what you think about the quality of their flight.
Okay. Is there a timestamp I should go to, or are we just going to watch it? Wait, now, hang on. I see these little white ping pong balls, and it makes me think they're using external sensors. Is that true, or is this all done internally?
It probably is done externally, because I doubt they're going to fit a planning algorithm on that quad, but on that.
Okay, that's cute, but it decreases the coolness slightly. Huh. Oh. That's kind of cool. Yeah. Slick. I mean, it's cool that they're like inventing these maneuvers, right?
Right. I think that's the idea of this is like, what can you do with one of these things? Let's figure it out, you know?
I want one of these that I can fly manually, or someone cooler than me. Like, if an algorithm can fly at knife edge like that, why can't a human? Why do we have to choose between VTOL and between multi-rotor and forward flight?
I wonder what the output looks like on that, like what you're doing through the process.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. It would be cooler if it wasn't externally tracked, though. But it's still pretty cool.
Yeah.
It won't be soon. Next up, Bionic Propellers.
All right. This could also be titled, "Is this the next toroidal?" Probably
I feel
not, is the answer.
I feel like we missed an opportunity to clickbait the title. I did. It's on me. I could have read this. Is this the next toroidal prop? Major advance in propeller design. Tell us about it.
This video essentially goes through, if you jump to like 10 minutes and 30 seconds. There's a lot of explanation, but we can see the general ideas here. Mm-hmm. So they're working on building these calculated designs for propellers. And they claim that through these, you get increased efficiency, change in noises, things like that based on a natural design. I think one of the things I've seen concerned about is cavitation, which is obviously more of an issue in boats. But I don't know. I'd be interesting to see. I don't know. Does this go anywhere, and what are the applications for it? Right? Is anybody actually going to do anything with this, or does this just look like a cool idea?
Yeah. One of those things that like hobbyists or the public might latch onto, that maybe like the toroidal props is just a research thing that maybe doesn't have as much application, or maybe it does. It's pretty cool. Yeah,
I assume if you're trying to get them that individually specific, it may be harder to mold, it may be harder to design, things like that. So
yeah, it's pretty cool when we borrow biologically evolved traits from art. Is like, well, fish have been swimming in water for millions of years. Why not just look at what they did? Turns out it's a good idea. That's pretty cool. Oh my god, how did we get Cybertruck news? Oh my god,
this is actually just a bait to talk about. This is really just, it's barely news, that's why it's here. But
good point. Okay, it's okay. You're allowed to clickbait in it's barely news. That's what it's for.
Yes.
Cybertruck drone dock. I am not accepting cookies from a Cybertruck website.
So okay, this is the article I got. Essentially, the idea is that this is a publicity thing, right? This company already makes a drone dock, and they're going to make a drone dock for the Cybertruck, right?
Because they're clickbaiting.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So let's go to the second link. That's a video of how one of their decaps works, and let's see what we think about the drone dock idea.
Decap drone dock for car/ground. Ground deploy. Okay. Ground deployment. Base installation. I don't think we need to see him
set it all up.
Base. Oh, it's not that long. This is 51 seconds. Are we going to watch the whole thing? Oh, yeah. Canopy open. I'm so glad I don't have to use my muscles and hands to open the canopy. That's good. The charging bar releases. Takes off.
So it's got these. It's got basically the idea is you add this little extra landing gear to the bottom. You run the landing gear wire up to the battery. And then these side things come in, attached to the landing gear, hold it in place, and charge it while you're driving.
I love how the landing is sped up because they want it to make it look like it's less awkward than it really is. Right. But it works. But it presumably works. It lands. The charging bar, I see. So it can charge while it's parked based on this custom.
Yeah, and it closes
mechanism.
itself back in your little top of your car, so it's all secured. And then you just hit the button when you want to take it out again.
And you're saying that I can put this on my Cybertruck.
That's correct.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Kim Fuse says the Cybertruck is ugly, but is so set up for FPV trips. Kim, you know what else is set up for FPV trips? The Rivian, the Ford F-150 Lightning.
Yeah, you're just describing an SUV or
an EV.
Like a large,
I mean, if you love the Cybertruck, Kim Fused, Garda Rotor, get her to a doctor. What's wrong, Kim? You're better than this. I mean, I'm just concerned for you. If you love the Cybertruck.
I will say the clickbait worked because somebody sent me the article because it talked about the Cybertruck, but we found out about.
Oh yeah, no, clickbait works. Absolutely.
The decap.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Last up, we do have our last story, and you know what that means.
Is it a dog?
There's a dog.
Oh, you do know me. Drone rescuing.
This is thermal footage of someone looking for a dog named Angie, who has been lost in the
Angie,
woods.
I see Angie right there. Angie, no, don't shoot Angie. Sorry, I saw the crosshair appear. I was like, no, Angie, duck. You said this was a happy story. Does Angie not know that the drone is looking for her?
Yeah, it's a dog, so I don't think the drone dog.
Angie's like, sit still, Angie. We're coming for you. That's why you need the sausage, Blunty. You need the sausage dropper mechanism for dog rescue. Angie would stand still if the drone had a sausage. Oh, that's great. Yeah. Thermal cameras.
So yeah, they were able to guide the owners to the dog through talking over the camera.
Here's the moment. Oh, Angie! Aww. Angie's so happy to see her owner. She's like, how did you find me? I'm so glad. Yeah, that's really nice. And the owner's going to take a phone call. Angie's, you pet that dog. Stop. Get off your phone.
I think that's like, hey, my wife, we're not looking for the dog anymore. Something like that.
Yeah, I guess so. Oh, man, that was so heartwarming. See, there's good news out there. FAA, how could you regulate drones? They help people find their lost dogs. Okay. And did my comments about the Cybertruck bring anybody out who wants to fight with me? Robert, we're finding out all the people who were dropped on their heads as kids because they're in the comments going, I love the Cybertruck. No. My head is the shape of it reminds me of what my face looked like after my mother dropped me.
That brings us to the end of the FPV news. We appreciate you joining us.
I know somebody, I'm not joking, this is serious. I know somebody who was arguing with a friend. Neither of these people are me, I promise. They were arguing about the Cybertruck, and they argued themselves to a point where they both agreed to $1,000 bet on the number of Cybertrucks that would be shipped to customers by the end of, I don't remember the year, 2025 or 2026. These people put $1,000 on this, and I think I know who's going to win, but I didn't take the bet. That's how strongly people feel about the Cybertruck.
Fair enough.
Stupid. But no, we can't go. We have more super chats that came in.
All right, let's do it.
Rary, thank you for a $2 super chat. Thoughts on the 2024 Mobula 6? Worth waiting for? No, nothing is worth waiting for. Spend your money now on something that makes you happy. You could die tomorrow. Il Cliffy, thank you for a $50 super chat. In-person workshop. I'm new to drones and love it. And I really want to get better at flying. There's a dollar amount that would make me go, okay, I'm going to drop everything else in my life and come spend all day teaching you about drones. Mostly I prefer to teach people about drones via my videos because one video can help many, many people. So for me to stop helping 300,000 people and help one person for a day, I will, I'm open to that, but generally I would need to be pretty significantly financially convinced. Or if you're like, hey, I work for the Make-A-Wish Foundation and some kid wants to meet you, that obviously. So, usually it's money. FPV Trucker, thank you for a $2 super chat. Hey, Blunty, how's Henry?
It's good.
Yeah.
Can you see? Is it possible?
Oh, there he is. There's a Henry Bud. Yeah.
He's doing good.
Yeah, he's doing good. Good. That in-person workshop could have been for you, Blunty. Let me ask you this, Blunty. Who do you think would ask for more money to spend all day teaching someone else how to do drones? You or me?
All day?
Yeah, like let's say they wanted a 1-day workshop. You need to go to they're at their location. You have to fly to their location.
Ooh.
Because here's the
I
thing.
don't know.
I feel like I would be more in demand, no offense, but I feel like you would hate it more and and want more money to convince you.
I mean, that's a big number to me. It's a
Yeah.
We
I'm
could talk
curious,
over the phone, or
like,
you
which
can
of
find
those
we'll find
things
you somebody
yeah.
locally is where I'm
Okay.
at with things. So
Yeah. All right. Eric Toff, thank you for $15 super chat. Cybertruck! On that note, we will see you next week, everybody.
I got a secret announcement we're going to slip in right at the end here.
I just said we will see you next week. Go.
It's okay. Well, I said that earlier, and then you talked about the Cybertruck. Okay.
That's fair.
So
that's fair.
I'm currently planning to be at Rotor Riot Rampage this year with the FPV FC. And I'm currently planning to be at flight test. What's it called?
Flight tests there. You should damn well know.
Yes. Whatever that thing's called. I'm blanking because I forgot. I didn't know that I was going to mention this. Flight Fest. That's why I can't think of it because it's the name.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. So currently I'm planning to be both at Flight Fest and at Rotor Riot Rampage this year. So
awesome.
That's not a guarantee, but that's a pretty hard, I'll probably be there.
That's exciting. Yeah. People get to meet you. All right. Well,
Yes.
we'll mention that again.
I mean,
I'm sure.
if you go to Rampage this year, it might be the first time we meet in person.
It might be. It might be. Finally. It'll be It'll be so awkward.
We could talk about doing a live FPV news. I don't know if we could do that, but
if you're ever on the right side of me, I won't know what to make of myself.
right?
Every time we talk, you're over on this screen and I'm looking to the left.
Right.
Okay.
right.
We should get T-shirts made with the news, like a screenshot of the news, and then we can.
So we're on the correct. Yeah, fair enough.
All right, bye everybody.
Oh
See
wait, I'm with that guy.
Yeah, I'm with.
But it's the new shirts. Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
All right, guys. Bye.